Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Tuesday to you and your family. Taking a look here at Rune, seeing what's going on. It's actually quite interesting the way that it's behaving right now. We have a massive overextension. We had some liquidity that was filled, some previous fair value gaps. Now that those have all been filled, it would make sense for the price to pull back. We'll talk about that and much more. And if you are new to the channel, just know I'm not a financial advisor. I love to teach people to trade. Truly hope you can learn something here today if you do want to become a better trader. CryptoCash.tech is a site, link down below. We do have a summer sale going on right now where you can lock in your rate for both Premium and Premium Plus. And just a heads up here, we have some pretty awesome trades going on. CFX, in 2 days, we took 21%. Keep in mind, these are just 5x leverage, keeping it safe. 137% for Bake in 8 days. And then what was it? I think we also took some Reef profits. SHIB short, 28%. Obviously, there's the same Bake trade, and then 33% for Reef. So awesome stuff, man. Really cool thing. So again, congrats to our community members. It was an awesome, very lucrative weekend. And this week here is shaping up to be interesting nonetheless, because we got a lot of sideways action from Bitcoin. Very select altcoins are surging, and this could be a coin to consider a short or a long, depending on where we're at. So we'll talk about that and kind of see what's going on. But first thing to open with, of course, is just kind of the standard stuff, and then we'll talk about those gaps and, of course, liquidity, etc. as well, just so you can kind of see the big picture. But truth is, here we are overextended. Big surprise, right? How did you guess it? We're at a 90 on the RSI. Stochastic is also starting to swing bearishly. Look at that. It's plateaued there. It's literally hit 100 and can't go any higher. Okay, so again, is that an overextension? Yeah, that's definitely overextended. Taking a look here at TD sequential, we can see we're at a 9+1. So we're literally a 10th day of this continuation of the upside. So it has literally continued for 10 days straight in the same direction. Now that's all well and good. That has to come to an end at a certain point. Now, oftentimes when you have TD sequential telling us that we're overextended, there's a few other things we want to take into consideration. First of all, we want to look at Elliott wave, and then also, of course, the fair value gap. So taking a look at Elliott wave, we can see here, again, this isn't definitive because we don't know the top yet. But if this is the extension, and this is as high as it can go, it'll likely pull back to these 0.382, 0.5, or 0.618 Fibonacci retracement levels. So $1.17, $1.25, and $1.34 are the three potential entry targets for your next long position, or likely targets for shorting your way down to that level. So what we want to look at here is a couple of things. First and foremost, we take a look at the fair value gaps, and we'll take a look at the most recent one. There's a pretty significant gap down here at the 0.618 level, right there at about 115. Okay, so a better case scenario for us is for the price to pull back to that level and to effectively bounce once that's been filled. It's a common characteristic. We can also see here as well that with previous gaps, in other words, we've got these previous value gaps, we're basically just telling us here that this one from, what was it, back in April, just got filled. And look at that, just a nasty candle wick all the way up to the very top there at 161, and then it came right back down. So again, when these things are filled, it happens quite often. You can see this almost consistently. This guy got filled, the price pulled back and bounced. This guy got filled, price pulled back and bounced. They keep bouncing out these Fibonacci retracement levels too. So this is a really cool little mad science type of situation where a lot of things are kind of leveling out, so to speak, and kind of showing us that it's hitting all these levels, and the probability I feel of pulling back is greater because we've filled all these gaps here from this most recent downtrend since April. Now keep in mind, there's potential for us to break through this resistance level here at 169 and go further, but the probability of that is lower. But once again, only way to establish an uptrend is to break a previous low. Okay, so this previous low here / high, that's an area which we want to go ahead and cross. Okay. Again, a lot of different things you can kind of think about, but generally speaking, the daily is massively overextended. There's no reason for it to continue up from here. It wouldn't make a ton of sense, because historically, too, if you take a look at Rune, most of these uptrends last 8 or 9 days, and then they digress. Keep in mind, there is definitely room for potential continuation. You can see this here. We hit a 9, price went sideways for a few days and continued higher. That could still happen. So please, please, please do not just set a short with a massive bottom target trying to hit the ground floor. I would recommend, if you do take a short, start moving your stop loss in profit as it comes down if it were to, and ensure that you take profits even if it turns back around and you get only a few percent. I do not mind that. I do that all the time. As soon as I'm in profit 10 or 15%, I will move my stop loss to 1 or 2% in profit. A lot of times it gets stopped out because you have that natural retracement. But once again, when it's a riskier trade like this, there's no guarantees it's going to just drop like a rock because it's doing very well. Again, just some food for thought, right? So take a look at the 4-hour. We can see so far the price action came down, retraced, and bounced off this key level support at 144. Fibonacci retracement level 0.786, or sorry, 0.236 rather. That being said, if we see this price here, look at this here. Price had 1, 2, 3, 4-hour candles where it had difficulty crossing that level, and then it broke to the upside. So this is a definitive, pattern that kind of broke upwards and filled that gap. Now there's a potential for the price to break downwards. Just keep in mind, this is holding as a support level, so if we do lose this level, it would be a good opportunity. That might be a good consideration for a short then at that point. But key takeaway here is that we are barely moving into the bullish range here for the RSI, as well as the MACD is diverging here too. So keep in mind that momentum is finally coming to an end. All right. So we're 10 days into this continuation. All good things come to an end, right? That's just the way of life. That's the way that things work out. And it's a rule of trading too. All uptrends will eventually digress and profits will be taken. So that said, looking at the hourly, where are we at here? Well, Ichimoku Cloud is starting to tell us that we're coming to an end of this little run here, right? Lagging span's coming soon to the price action. Conversion lines intersecting with the baseline relatively soon. It's not guaranteed, but definitely coming there. So in other words, if today closes at the level 145 or lower, then we can determine that we're going to be shifting momentum below the cloud. That would be the first time in a long time that we can actually say that that's happened. And ultimately, that would confirm that there is a bearish sentiment here on this coin. Okay, so between now and then, I would recommend just kind of hanging out and waiting. I'm going to set an alert myself to be notified when the price crosses this level here, just so I can kind of take another look and evaluate. Ideally, the price goes sideways for the next 8 hours, drops below the cloud there at about 145, and then we take a consideration for a short to the downside to fill some of those new gaps that are filled, or that are unfilled, rather, in this range here. Okay, so again, just to clarify, summarization here, and again, I'm going to send these out on my Twitter, for example. I'll send potential playout charts. Like this is my Bitcoin chart form today, for example. And what I'll do is I'll send this out as a potential playout chart. I send that through my Discord, my Telegram as well. But the bottom line here is that it's going to reflect similar behaviors like this. In other words, if this is the top, which I feel like it's the immediate top, I wouldn't say like the long-term big picture, I do feel like Rune could very well continue higher. But in the immediate future, it would make sense if the price were to pull back to one of these three key Fibonacci levels. Once again, 134, 125, and or 117. Okay, those are the three areas I'm looking at. So to me, a short from the current price to 134 would seem appropriate. Okay, that would be a good starting point. Again, don't go too hard, but that's a pretty solid amount of profit, 8%, especially multiplied by 5, 10, 20x leverage. Definitely a good consideration. Speaking of leverage, I get this question a lot. Why do you use 5x leverage? Well, I prefer more so swing trading and having larger ranges of motion, so I don't get stopped out with these nasty candle wicks, which consistently happen in crypto. So to me, lower leverage, lower position size is much more sustainable. You have more long-term gains that way because you can open more trades and not get wrecked or demolished by using 50, 100, 150x leverage. So again, to those folks who do that, it's all well and good, but unfortunately, if you are trusting those who are using that kind of leverage, be very careful because it's more gambling than it is actually trading, and good traders don't use that kind of leverage. Just again, my personal opinion, because once again, if you're using 200x leverage, your liquidation levels are so tight that you're gonna get stopped out multiple times. I mean, those folks that are using those pictures that show you 200x leverage, they're literally taking multiple entries until they get it right, and they're posting that one result, not sharing with you all the losses they've taken. Trust me, it's not the right way to go. If you want to sustain in this market, I think smaller baby steps, if you will, are much more sustainable in the long run. Again, I'm a little more traditional. I've been trading for 20 years, and this is my full-time job. There's a reason for that, because I learned how to survive in these markets, and I take traditional trading techniques and apply them to crypto. Again, different strokes for different folks, but you want to become part of something greater, come on over to our Discord, jump on in there. That's obviously a free group, and if you want access to these signals, which are fully automated, we take majority of these profits while I'm sleeping. Check that out too. It's a really cool option. Again, Summer Sale 23, link down below for that. That is available until the month of August. I hope that you have a good rest of your day. Thanks again so much for joining me here. Look forward to working with you in the future. If you could, help us grow our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Jump on down there, links below. Hope you have a good rest of your day again. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.